And that live opera film continues in just 50 minutes here on 4, after highlights of today's play in the second Cornhill Test at Trent Bridge.
Sport on 4 with Stepstone Online Recruitment.
One way or another, it's been a good fortnight for England fans. The footballers have been unbeaten in their warm-up games, and the cricketers have found a winning way. At Lord's, Ed Giddings suggested that he was here to stay. And yesterday at Trent Bridge, Chris Schofield made an impression before bowling a ball. Not that the 21-year-old had an easy ride. More a mix of panic and later perfection. An adventurous 50 indeed. Not so for Michael Atherton, no such abandon. Just hours of concentration and contemplation as rain delayed his pursuit of a 14th Test match 100. Hello from the 4th day of the second Cornhill Test match of the summer.
This is Today at the Test, and this is the Super Sopper that has been working overtime throughout the morning to get play underway. 20-2 was the time that the umpires decided on. 323 runs ahead, England. Michael Slater is next door to me on the roller. What do you think, Michael? Enough time to bowl them out?
Well, given that there's no more time lost, there's a possible 165 overs remaining. Now, England are obviously the only side that can win this match, and the dangerous inroads they made yesterday, you just never know.
There's a shout of catch it. They've all gone up and he's been given. The fingers raised. Grant Flower doesn't look too happy, but he's on his way. Darren Gough striking in his first over. Zimbabwe lose their first wicket with just the one run on the board. Oh, that's close. Yes. That is very well bowled. It defeated him with the swing. It was just a little bit of movement, not enough to take it past the leg stump, and just enough to have it going straight on, I reckon, to hit middle and leg. It was very well bowled by Ed Giddings.
And it doesn't matter how well you're doing or how many Test matches you've played, there'll still be some butterflies as you come down the stairs. Famous stairs from the dressing room at Trent Bridge, past a lot of great names. Gary Sobers, Clive Rice, Richard Hadley, overseas players from Nottingham. That's the situation of the game overnight. 323 runs behind Zimbabwe. The magical follow-on figure, of course, 200 the difference. 374 England, 51 for 2. Zimbabwe, the openers came out. Another delay, though, had made it very difficult for the staff.
One of the best inventions ever for cricket grounds and groundsmen who are beset by the problems of heavy rain, thunderstorms. That Super Sopper was invented by a delightful old guy called Gordon Withnell, Curanda Industries in Padstow, New South Wales. And he rings up every year in Sydney when the matches are on the SCG. And a real good guy and a great invention.
A comparison of the pitch from the first day suggests that it's attained a darker hue after a couple of nights under the covers, and plenty of live grass for the England bowlers to aim at, plus also pleasanter conditions today, less of the blustery wind to try and fight. But the trouble for bowlers at Trent Bridge is the scoreboard here shows the bowling figures in full, which is quite unusual. And there's Andy Caddick's figures, 4 overs for 24 runs and no wickets. And one of the reasons possibly for that is that there's a dip at the Radcliffe Road end, just where his back foot lands, and that does tend to throw bowlers out of their rhythm.
Well, it was Darren Gough who got things going at the pavilion end of the ground to Murray Goodwin, and Goodwin was in good shape early on. So was the outfield. Considering the amount of water, it raced away for 4.
Positive start from Goodwin. Straight onto the front foot. He's most comfortable playing back early, and it takes him a while to get that forward movement going. So early on in his innings, that was a good sign.
Yeah, he's playing confidently at the moment, Goodwin. Neil Johnson hasn't been, but of course his timing is exquisite. Johnson, I think above everybody else in the Zimbabwe side, does have the ability to carry the attack to the opposition. And it was clear to me from this early play that they were looking to get after everybody, not least umpire Mervyn Kitchen.
He timed that beautifully, shovels it round the corner. Merv still showing he's got a bit of spring in the step.
And concern, I think, for Zimbabwe in terms of the embarrassment of Lords, and Andy Flower determined that his team showed fight, and there's no doubt that a good start was essential. The ball was just doing a little bit, you know, there was the odd edge, and there was a difficult half chance, I thought, to Michael Atherton, not more than that. Would Mark Taylor have caught that?
Well, I don't think he would have. He was one of the best slippers going around, Mark Taylor, when he played. Michael Atherton made a good effort here. He moved early, and the ball probably just yorking his hand. If he'd moved forward, there was maybe a chance there.
Not that many alarms, though, for the Zimbabwe batsmen in the early part of the day. The pitch was slow, and as England dug the ball in, Johnson had plenty of time to rock back and smash Gough away.
The pace of the wicket really allowing Johnson to move with ease into position for that shot. Showed some good authority. He was in a very, very positive frame of mind. And that was a big secret, I feel, for Zimbabwe. They had to come out and play in a confident fashion.
Well, the 50 partnership not quite off the middle of the bat, but in a pretty decent position to play the ball. And again, little indications of a touch of movement, but lowish and slowish reaction from the ball off the pitch. There's the 50 partnership, 83 for 2, Goodwin on 25 and Johnson on 25 as well. Here's Ed Giddings.
It's a lovely delivery, just angling across the left-hander. Has the ability to swing the ball late, and it just moves away from him. Mostly off the seam, and a lot with the angle.
Yes, Giddings actually got the ball to move the latest for England. He did pitch it up, and I think that was a reason for his success at Lords, and it was nice to see him bringing the batsman forward, and all credit for Giddings for the rhythm that he's found. 89 for 2 Zimbabwe, 285 behind as Dermot Reeve in the box.
Good shot, that's a cracking pull shot. Murray Goodwin very quickly onto the short ball from Giddings.
Beautiful pull shot. He's talking about how strong he is square of the wicket each side. I've seen a couple of examples of cut shots, and that's the pull shot. Beautiful shot to rank full toss. And that brings up the Zimbabwe 100. Johnson leaping on a full toss from Caddick.
Yeah, wide full toss, plenty of room for Johnson. Let the hands go through the line of the ball. And no need to run for that one. Gives you an idea of the impact that bowlers put on their ankle joints. He's been struggling a little bit with the footholds. He keeps putting plenty of sawdust down in order to get a good grip. That is a beauty.
An effort ball from Caddick. Really leaps off a length. Moves away from Johnson. It's a rip snorter.
Zimbabwe 271 runs behind England's first innings total of 374. They need 175 runs to be safe and avoid the follow-on. Lovely shot, lovely timing from Goodwin. 4 more.
He looks in good form today, Goodwin. He's moving very nicely at the crease. This shot requiring a lot of balance, and he's just whipped that through the vacant mid-wicket region. Gets himself into a beautiful position. Confident shot there.
Caddick to Goodwin. Oh, very close indeed to his off stump. It's one of those ones where you either call it as saying that's great judgment, or he was a touch fortunate.
It's just taken a layer of varnish off the off stump.
He's got the gap. 4 runs. He's looked very, very strong in that area this morning, Neil Johnson.
Oh, the third or fourth time that Goodwin's had a bit of luck, particularly against Giddings. Giddings was causing him some problems when he bowled from the Radcliffe Road end of the ground, and now also from the Pavilion end. Tendency to go back more than a number of players. Goodwin is essentially a back player, and the ball that nips back will always pose him the odd problem.
Oh, Chris Schofield, he'll be just a little bit nervous. He had the one over last night, but this might be an opportunity for a longer spell.
Get it? Yes, ready now.
Excellent work. Ramprakash, twice in a couple of overs, very sharp.
Yep.
Excellent on the back foot. And 50 for Murray Goodwin. He's not had an easy tour. In fact, after a very impressive start in Test match cricket, he's had a quiet year. With Goodwin going to 50, Zimbabwe looking pretty good to avoid the follow-on. 125 for 2. They need 175, so one can't imagine there'll be any alarms. There are no great alarms in the pitch, and it's been a decent effort from Goodwin in harness with Neil Johnson.
Some of Andy Caddick's deliveries have illustrated there is still some life in this pitch from just short of a length, but clearly today Caddick isn't really in the groove. A full toss to Neil Johnson, both from over and round the wicket. And when you see a bowler scratching at the footholes like that, it's clear that they're not happy with their rhythm, or indeed in Caddick's case his bowling figures there on the big screen. 8 overs, none for 37.
Yeah, I just wonder if there's something in the fact that he hasn't played much county cricket in the last few weeks. The central contracts thing means that he's getting a break when he wants it between tests. He's someone who's always thrived on bowling in the past. Now, what happens here is that when you've got a very wet outfield and the ball gets hit across it a lot, as it has been, you get moisture underneath the leather casing, and then the ball swells up from the moisture, goes a bit soft. And so Mark Benson, who is the 4th umpire here, he's bringing out a change of ball.
Yes, and they'll all be around the 30-over mark. 30 to 40 overs will be marked on that box, so that they're all of similar wear.
Yes.
It's a clever stroke because he got it away behind square. He knew the sweeper was out just in front of square on the offside, so he waited a little longer and slashed down on the ball.
Yes, that's the key. Just delayed it long enough, picked the length up very quickly, and then has hit it behind square. Quicker delivery from Schofield, and he just waited Murray Goodwin. He picked out his spot in his mind before the ball actually arrived.
Yes.
It's well fielded by Schofield, but it can't stop the century partnership coming up between Murray Goodwin and Neil Johnson. Nice crisp stroke from Goodwin. Goodwin Johnson, record partnership now of 128. That's the highest for any wicket in a test match between Zimbabwe and England.
Oh, well, drew it.
Not very good. Not going to please Schofield. Not going to please Hussain. But, Johnson will be delighted. Darren Gough, the offender.
Straight through the legs. Darren Gough. Schofield, over before, was building up some nice pressure. That's one way to release it.
It's a beauty. Not a particularly good start. It's what you could certainly term a loosener, even though Gough is scuffing away at the bowling crease and the footmark. It wasn't the fault of the pitch that produced that rather easy delivery for the batsman.
Seen a lot of Goodwin cut shots go behind point. That one he had enough time to hit that in front of point.
It's a nice reply. He slanted that in at the right hander, had a bit of finger roll over the top of it to produce the leg cutter. Too short, and the pitch is so slow that it doesn't allow for that type of length.
It's a gift to Johnson. Just helps it on its way.
Yes.
That's very well played. The placement was the thing there. Schofield has dropped short again, twice in the one over, and he's paid the penalty on each occasion. It's 152 for 2.
Another short delivery from Schofield. Dealt with severely. Plenty of time, though. Big effort from Darren Gough. To no avail. There's Mrs. Johnson. Jeannie Johnson. Enjoying what her husband is doing out in the middle. I'm sure she's very proud.
No, I'm in on Wednesday.
He's talking to himself, concentrating hard. It's a nice delivery from Darren Gough. Taking that ball away from Johnson, mainly through the air. Sigh of relief. Look to the sky.
And there it is. It's a good save, 2 to Johnson. Becomes the second half-century maker of this innings. There's plenty of jubilation in the Zimbabwean camp and in the household. 154 for 2 now. 220 behind Zimbabwe, but a fine fighting effort from Murray Goodwin and Neil Johnson. 66 not out and 51 not out respectively. Well, he's got round the business of being a bit too short. And that is the third boundary. Now, Stewart's going to have a word with him. There's a touch of experience there. Stewart has kept to a lot of spin bowlers. Not too many leggies.
Murray Goodwin apologising to short leg Mark Ramprakash, who was ducking for cover.
Chris Schofield isn't afraid to try his variations. This is the orthodox leg spinner, bowled from the side of the hand, trying to spin into the left-handed batsman. and Neil Johnson just leaves that one alone because it doesn't turn enough. Then he goes a little bit wider of the crease and tries the flipper, which is bowled from the front of the hand, and trying to make the ball go across the left-handed batsman. And it just skids a little bit low as well. But the key on this wicket, a slowish pitch, really is accuracy, and Schofield didn't quite have enough of that.
Wonderfully well fielded. That was past him and going for 3.
Good commitment from the skipper, showing the way, setting the example. Really is a quality fielder.
Stewart. Partnership gone. Gough has got the breakthrough. Stewart going across in front of the first slip. Andy Flintoff. Aaron Gough has broken through, and Johnson the man out for 51.
Darren Gough has been thrown the ball to try and get the breakthrough. Here it is, he's been bowling predominantly full. This one a little shorter. Some acrobats from Alex Stewart behind the stumps. Well bowled, Darren Gough.
Neil Johnson, the last man out. Caught Stewart bowl Gough 51 from 100 balls. Murray Goodwin, been in great form today. He's still there on 74. New batsman, the skipper of the Zimbabwe side, Andy Flower.
Lovely bit of play, just developing here. Andrew Flintoff brought into the attack. It's around about 3:45 in the afternoon, and there was a sort of feeling that the game had gone a bit flat. Flintoff came in and he bowled quick, really quick, big strong man, strong action. At times he had the ball up at sort of 86, 87 mph, but Goodwin was playing great cricket as well. It was a lovely little challenge between them.
He's such a big man, Flintoff, so strong, and it's all in his last stride. Very deceptive for the batsman.
However, bad balls still trouble. And that was what I thought was so good about Goodwin, was he was able to hang on while Flintoff whistled a few past his ears and beat him as he tried to get forward. And then when the opportunity came to score, he latched onto it quick as a flash.
Shot selection excellent, and so strong in this region. You just can't afford to get short and wide to him.
Thank you, skipper. Nasser Hussain.
Well, a half volley, it was dealt with. It was timed beautifully, but the skipper, once again, setting the example in the field. Just showing the way, moving beautifully. He's got great hands, Nasser Hussain.
Yeah, great sign there of how well Goodwin was playing. He just held the stroke, the pose in the stroke, and again he holds it. These punch drives he plays really well. He gets to a nice position, his hands get through the ball well, and his head is absolutely ideal.
Well, it's simple footwork. It really is. That's just an elegant punch down the ground. Holds the position for a photo opportunity.
Bargy, and a handy single. They ran well between the wickets, actually, all the way through. It was sort of an indication of their intent, I thought.
It was very positive from ball one today. They really did have a good attitude. It would have been very easy for them just to come out and try and save the game, therefore not try and take these singles, and that would have worked against them, but they were very positive all the time.
Safe, actually, just looking back another few seconds as Schofield does some fine fielding. I was thinking, you don't want to argue with Andrew Flintoff, do you? It doesn't matter who you are.
There's a little bit of luck in this shot. He pushes forward for a straight drive, moves late into it. Just a little late in his movement, but there's no gully in, and really that's as safe as houses. But Schofield, he's got a lot about him. He really does try hard.
And that was the moment that the follow-on was saved, 175. And they're doing it very well, actually, with the Flower lending support to Goodwin. Andy Flower, of course. Well, I don't know. You can't sort of feel that quite pitch, did it, between wicket and wicket? Did it hit him out? Well, I don't know. Was there an edge? You know, too many things, I think, for umpire Orchard to be sure of there. And a wry smile from the bowler.
Well, he comes wide of the crease anyway, and the only way Flintoff's going to get an LB in this situation is if he's starting it on outside or outside off stump and swinging the ball back in.
Didn't absolutely get that, Goodwin, but an idea of the fact that he's seen the ball well enough to not hit it perfectly and still earn 4.
It's one of the most satisfying shots in the book, I think, the on drive. It's the hardest to play. And the execution, maybe not quite as he would have liked, but the effect, perfect.
Frustration for Nasser Hussain, not able to get the amount of breakthroughs that he wanted. 181 for 3 at T Zimbabwe. Goodwin has 90. Flower has 2. Good effort from Neil Johnson. 51 he made in a splendid partnership with Murray Goodwin. 2 wickets so far for Darren Gough and 1 for Ed Giddings. Not much luck for the remainder of the England attack. Caddick not quite been at his best. And the situation of the game, the follow-on is saved. Zimbabwe are 193 behind England.
Jono, congratulations on being involved in the biggest partnership against England ever, and your contribution as 51 was an excellent effort.
Oh, thanks, Mark. Yeah, it was all right. You know, we had to do something. We haven't played good cricket so far, and Muzz and I got out there and really got stuck into them, hit the bad ball for 4, and yeah, it was a good partnership.
Now, you look to be playing in a very positive fashion. Same with Murray Goodwin. Was that a conscious effort?
Yeah, we definitely did. You know, they came hard at us at Lords and really hurt us in Lords. And both Muzz and I just said, you know, we've got to come back at them. We can play the game, and we didn't really show that we could in Lords. So today we came out today and we're going to hit them hard. If they bowled anything bad to us, it was going to the boundary.
Now, we've seen a wicket that's probably played a little inconsistently. It looks quite good today. How did you find it?
Yeah, it's not too bad today. I think today is probably the best day to bat on. Same as the first day, I think. When the sun came out on the first day, it wasn't bad to bat on. I know all the commentators and that were criticising our bowlers, you know, but not bad to bat on at all. I think yesterday was the hardest day to bat on when it just went around with a bit of the cloud cover.
And we saw your wife in the crowd there, mate. Does that spur you on? Has she been there from Lords?
Well, when I saw her, she was there at Lords as well, but no runs there. But as I got my 50, I looked on the big screen and I saw her on that, and that's why I got out, I think. You know, maybe you guys were looking at it or something, I don't know.
Jono, just quickly, mate, the hairstyle, is it for aerodynamics? Does it make you bowl faster?
No, it's not. I'm going bald, so I've got to stop, you know, I've got to shave it off. You know, I don't want to throw those pieces over the top, you know, so I've got to look after my hair.
Mate, congratulations on your effort and good luck for the remainder of the Test match.
Thanks, man.
Terrific character, Neil Johnson. This must be Muzzer, I think we'll take it. Murray Goodwin on strike. Andrew Caddick, the bowler. And a problem. Ramprakash, the man. And very tight. Very, very tight. Now, the one thing when you're looking for quick singles to keep momentum going is to judge him right. And just a little stumble from Ramprakash may have saved him.
Yeah, I'm sure it did, but it was a good effort all the same for Ramprakash. He swooped in on the ball, had to pick it up in his left hand. The mistake was he had to change it across to his right. He lost valuable time while doing that. But if you hear the calling, it was yes, no, a lot of confusion.
I think he'd have got him, you know. I think the direct hit, or Andrew Caddick behind the stumps, stopping the ball and getting it back onto the stumps, it was tight, real tight. Now, the fast bowler who's been busting a gut all day, there's a moment that he won't savour. Never easy when you've really just come off a sort of a hard spell, you know, you haven't got a wicket, maybe your body's a bit tired, you're coming round the boundary's edge, and the sprawl, and just about failing to gather the ball. He got a bit bird from the crowd. I thought it was a bit tough on him.
Much better spell from Andrew Caddick. Found his range. He's testing the batsman.
That's a beauty. Ball was in the slot, but it was certainly dealt with magnificently by Goodwin.
It's a beauty, all right. It's one of the best of the day. What a ripper this is. Just slightly overpitched. Beautiful check drive. He doesn't overextend himself, Murray Goodwin. Watch this high left elbow and just guarding it through the gap. It's absolutely raced away.
Wonderful reply.
Just haven't been enough of these for Andy Caddick. Opened him up like a can of beans. Beauty.
Well, it was fiercely hit. The skipper from the Blinks didn't quite pick it up.
He's vulnerable in that area, Andy Flower. He likes to play it square, but he's latched onto this one. Initially forward and then really smacks it.
Up comes the 200 for Zimbabwe. Just at the cost of 3 wickets. Flower is 12. Goodwin on 99. Here's Andy Caddick.
Yes.
Nicely done. Very well played by Murray Goodwin. He's played some delightful strokes in this innings of 100, his 3rd century. Made one against Pakistan in Bulawayo and another recently against West Indies in Kingston. Here today, 100 out of a total of 202 for 3.
There's the strength off the back foot. Easy as you like.
He's in good form. Shot selection has been excellent. That's his autograph shot.
Back to back. Strikingly similar. Good placement. Just seemed to lean on it and time it superbly. That is a wonderful stroke.
Elegant shot. Didn't try and overhit it at all.
Oh, yeah. He'll be so pleased to have found that gap. He sort of threaded it through there. 230 for 3 now, 144 runs behind, so no real chance, one would say, of a result in the game. But Murray Goodwin will be the proudest man. 190 not out. That is the highest score by a Zimbabwean against England, beating Andy Flower's 112 at Bulawayo back on England's tour in 1997.
That's a great shot. Just about shot of the day, though he has played others of great quality. Goodwin goes to 137.
Magnificent on drive from Murray Goodwin. His balance has been tremendous.
The new ball with Darren Gough. He's bowling from the Ratcliffe road end. And he's gone. bowl him. He's dragged it back on. Now there's some confusion here. The bail is on the ground. Andy Flower's walking, and Darren Gough has struck eventually. Andy Flower's on his way for 52.
Darren Gough's third wicket. Just seeing his face, how hard he was working for this wicket. He was starting to get some good shape in the air. Lazy shot from Andy Flower. Just flicks his leg stump. Bale just falls off. Fourth Zimbabwean wicket to fall. And it's Andy Flower. He's bowled for 42. 284 for 4.
Umpires consulting again.
He said, man, it wouldn't have hurt so much if these had been
Another
used.
light has come on. So the light just getting a touch worse.
And they're off. They've been offered the light. Very Goodwin and Murphy decide to go.
Yeah, just on about 20-7, that decision from the umpires. Murray Goodwin, 148 from 250 balls. An outstanding effort. Neil Johnson, 51. Andy Flower, 42. Brian Murphy, the night watcher, yet to score. The English bowlers, 3 for 66 Gough, 1 for 46 Giddings, and none of the others managed to get on the wicket-taking sheet. It was a hard day for them. The pitch played pretty decently.